Welcome to the hottest movie review on the internet today, the A-List Review. I am your host, the Game Changer, Wes Troop, and it's time to go back to the couch. That's right, because there is a new film on Netflix that is trending, starring Chris Hemsworth and Miles Teller. It can't be all that bad, can it? My review of the 2022 science fiction thriller, Spiderhead, coming up now. In the future, prisoners volunteer to be test subjects at a penitentiary known as Spiderhead, where they experiment with the effects of research chemicals in exchange for years off of their prison sentences. Jeff, an inmate still struggling with his past that landed him in the situation, is made the test subject for a love drug, and he begins to question what's really going on with the government project and with its overseer, Steve Abnesti. So what did I think of Spiderhead? I thought it's a lackluster science fiction thriller. It's based on a short story, Escape from Spiderhead, by George Saunders. The film is directed by Joseph Kosinski, who also filmed Tron Legacy, Oblivion, Only the Brave, and most recently, Top Gun Maverick, and he seems to have a muse in Miles Teller. The premise here is quite intriguing, and unfortunately it gets squandered, as it could have gone down a number of more interesting routes. We see the prisoners allowed to roam freely around the island, as there's honestly really nowhere they can go anyway, and given certain privileges, like sleeping in rooms that look like studio apartments, or playing video games. In exchange for all this, though, they must participate in these trials, which starts out pretty fascinating, with drugs such as Lovactin, which makes you instantly attracted to a person, or Lafadil, which makes you constantly laugh. But of course, there are darker drugs to deal. Once Jeff starts to question the program and begins to believe not as all as it seems, things start to get very predictable. The script packs in lame dialogue and piles on a few eye-rollingly bad cliches. There's a number of flashbacks that show Jeff's past, showing us how he got here, and the way they're told are pretty foolish. There's also a lot of random comedy that comes out of left field and isn't exactly funny either. We also get some emotional moments that aren't really earned as well. The romance between Jeff and an inmate, Lizzie, that he's close with, is very bland too, and there's no chemistry there. All of the characters except for Steve are very vanilla. Hemsworth plays him well as a likable but shady person, and it's a shame that his films can be so hit and miss. While the movie clocks in at about an hour and 45 minutes, it drags on and feels a lot longer than it actually is. I did enjoy the soundtrack, which is heavy on 80s hits, from Hall & Oates' You Make My Dreams Come True to Thomas Dolby's She Blinded Me with Science. The cast stars Miles Teller as Jeff, the prisoner who had made a bad mistake in the past and is learning more about this project. Chris Hemsworth as Steve Abnesti, the pharma scientist in charge of the minimum security prison. Jurnee Smollett as Lizzie, the inmate who falls for Jeff, who's also hiding a secret of why she's there. And Mark Paggio as Mark Verlaine, Steve's right-hand man. While Spiderhead had an interesting premise and Hemsworth can be fun, the film spirals down into a boring, dopey slog. Number-wise, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10, which gives it the A-list rating of meh. It's okay. Alright, well that's the show. I'll be back with another review very soon. But until then, don't forget to subscribe right here on YouTube. YouTube.com/Westside515. Like the show on Facebook, Facebook.com/WestTroopAlist. And of course, you can follow me on the Twitter, the Instagram, and Letterboxd at WestAlist. Until next time, Troop out.